Good morning, collective. Oh, little light flicker. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Hello, good morning. Welcome. I'm just going to clear the energy a little. We have a heavy topic today. I have a purification sound bath in the background at 741 hertz. Just to kind of clear the field a little, we got a heavy topic today. Trigger warning for those who are sensitive to information that is correlated to this case. This is about Paul and Maggie Murdaugh. If you are very sensitive and you feel that you may be triggered at all, we ask you that you please take a rest on this one and you will see on the next one, because this does have a lot of heavy energy to it. There's a lot of pulling. There's a lot of pulling. I had to formulate some questions to ask because there was a lot of confusion in this energy, a lot of generational energy, a lot of, I don't know, like atomic bomb. It's like, it's a big mess. It's a big mess for sure. It's a big old mess. So, trigger warning for those who might have some sensitivity to these topics. If you aren't familiar with the Paul Murdaugh murders, I suggest you go research a little. I found myself drawn to this case because it just seems so. There's something off about it. There's something off about it. I couldn't put my finger on it. This is a case that like haunts my dreams. Like I definitely, not in a bad way, but as somebody who's connected to energy and somebody who finds value in energy, the energy of this whole story and timeline occurrence is off, and I don't know, and that's why I am drawn to like murder mysteries, cold cases, or what I'm discovering now is because of my spiritual gift. This like intuitive like pull of like something else is missing from the equation, and that's kind of like the vibe I get from this scenario. So we want to heal it. We want to heal it. Hello, noob. Thanks for being here. We want to heal it. We want to bring some clarity to this situation, and we want to make sure that as we're moving forward into the new earth energies, that we're not taking heavy things like this into the new earth. So we want to heal it. We want to get the perspective of those involved. We want to be able to be their messenger if they have any messages that they didn't get to share when they were alive, if they have anything they want to share. Ooh, I'm gonna cry. There's a lot of emotion. Oh, there's a lot of emotion. Okay. So I will say there was I was, because they wanted me to ask questions. I was meditating, I was marinating in the energy, and they were like, ask questions, because I felt this air of confusion. And the confusion was like, the echo of past lives. I told you, it's generational. There's a lot of generational things here. Spirit just said echo of past lives. Um, but I felt like I know that this family like to drink a lot, and that is the vibe I'm getting. And I get that like weird taste in my mouth of like like the aftertaste the next day of alcohol, and it's like fumey and this like fog. There's like this cloud in my eyes, and usually when I get that, or what I'm learning from doing these reads and learning energy with my spirit team, there are certain things that my bot oh, the lights are flickering. There are certain um, tells or things that my mind will envision or my body will feel that tell me certain information that relates to whatever energy we're picking up on. And that fog on my face and the drinking feels like I don't know if it's going to apply literally like spell work. It could be just a lot of oppressive thoughts and manipulation and stuff like that. But I did get Divining Rod, Harry Potter, and Crystal Ball and Rocky Horror Picture Show when I was drawing the 20 question cards. Because they did want me to ask, like, have specific questions, and then I'm like, oh my god, I just got these 20 question cards. I'll just pull a couple, and I got Divining Rod and Crystal Ball, which could relate to some kind of divination that was taken up. Um, and it led to some. I have Atomic Bomb, Day of the Dead, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Cyclops, and Harry Potter, and I have Paranormal Activity. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. That's not alcohol if you're tasting it, my dear. Well, it's like when any when I do a read where someone may be an alcoholic or alcohol is involved, because I used to have a friend who was an alcoholic, and she would have this. I would always know she had a binge night of drinking because the next day, if I would see her, she would reek of that like smell from the stomach after drinking. I can't describe it. It's like a bittersweet, fumey smell, and I would know that she had like a binger. So that's how I know if I get that like smell and that feeling that someone's been drinking in the energy. So I bet you were drinking when you got that tattoo on your arm. Oh, hey, if anyone in here wants to be here, I absolutely love that you're here. But if you're gonna be naughty and disruptive and disrespectful to the healing process that we're going through, I have to get you out, and I don't want to do that. So I want you to stay. I want you to get the heals. I want you to get the feels. I want you to get understanding. I want you to feel close to spirit through this message. So if you can't behave, then I gotta get you out. Okay. Bye, Ace. I'm sorry, but I can't have you in here, okay? Okay. No problem. It's okay. People make their choices and it's not a big deal. Maybe they can join us on the next one. All right. So I'm not saying that spell work's going to come up, but that cloud on my face is often like someone under spell work that's kind of like held back by traumas or pain that they're feeling, something like that. So it doesn't have to literally be spell work, but I was getting that. That's just like I was just kind of playing around, and those are just some things I got. We'll definitely continue and see what comes up. The main goal of this is not to trigger anybody, but we do give a trigger warning because Spirit just said the ghostly child, and we have a wild ghost here, and Spirit said yeah. So yeah, there's definitely an air of entitlement. There's definitely a generational curse of um, perhaps narcissism or uh, being untouchable, something like that. Okay, something like that. We didn't do a lot of advertising for this read just because it's such a heavy topic and there's so many people involved that were affected negatively that have received trauma bonds from this experience. So we didn't want to like glorify or try to like get views for it. This is for healing, and so whoever's drawn to it will come, and that's fine. Um, but we just want to make sure that we're being respectful to all involved, and we want to make sure you guys know that this is for healing purposes and to help release this situation because there is some kind of karmic tie that binds that could be binding a couple of people to Earth for this situation, okay? I've tried chaos magic and my life spiraled. That's what I was getting for this read. That's what I was getting. I didn't know it's called chaos magic. I 11 111. I'm not familiar with the types of spells. I don't do magic. But I did feel called to wear my this shirt today, which has a little magic book in there, but it says rise above the bullshit. So there's something about that. And what we're finding when we do these reads, and why I think God is having a lot of the readers come onto YouTube and answer that call, is because a lot of people in this age of information who could be have underlying mental health issues or personality disorders, and I'm not saying that you have one, but you can temporarily have a low moment and be in that energy and do that thing because it feels right in that moment. And somebody who's very impulsive, who's very entitled, or who's very, needs power and control, that can dominate your or overwhelm your senses, and it can overwhelm what's right to do, and it can override it. And once you make that split hair decision, you know you can't change it. There's no going back. There's only going forward. And so that's often what happens, and why we're bringing up a lot of these stories. And I will say, I'll continue in 1 second, we'll get on with it, is that some of the stories seem like outlandish. A lot of the readers will be bringing up like one big collective story that's connected in very small ways to everybody. But for example, their BBC made a documentary about a woman, a Brazilian woman, who just went to Brazilian prison because she got caught doing witchcraft on the collective. And she would go onto Instagram or social media and find people like us, people like star seeds, who are readers, who are psychics, who are easily available, saying who they are, master manifestors, and they would take our energy. And she literally went to prison for this, and that she wrote a book about how she heard a voice in her head since she was young that told her how to do these things. She would perform rituals, and she had a brothel, and she would pimp out these women. She would find these, very naive, very susceptible women and use sex magic on them. And so there are things around the world, not just in our own little bubble. They might not be happening, but on a collective scale, this is a whole planet, and we have a lot of things where people are healing, or are choosing not to heal things that need to heal, that have them operate in that energy. And they will, in this day of the age of Aquarius, the age of information, have readily available chaos magic, jar spells, binding spells, death spells, all of that. And you have to remember that we're in a cycle. And so in our modern age, if you're not accustomed to this information, you think it's outlandish and it's crazy. But this is a cycle. This has happened throughout history. You can go in the Bible, and all they talk about is sorcery and magic and witches and sorcerers, and how you should stay away from that. So that's biblical. So these are ancient practices that, just because it's a modern age, doesn't mean that they go away, and that there aren't still those generational souls that used it back then aren't still using it now. So that's what we hope to help people understand through these energy reads. And that's definitely why I believe God has us come forward and look at this energy, because these people are not going to admit that they use magic, because in our society, that's, first of all, it's frowned upon, and it seems outlandish, and they'd say you're crazy for saying that. And people don't want to be called crazy. Crazy people don't know they're crazy. And it doesn't mean you're crazy like throughout your life. It could just be a moment in time where you were at a low point and you made an impulsive decision that was in that energy. So I used Godel, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that, a Godel style paradox, and it works somehow, and don't know how to feel about it. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna write that down and look it up later. Godel style. I'm gonna look it up later, not in this reading, but yeah, so I don't know, that was for somebody, so I had to get that out. So these things are definitely coming up to be healed, so that's our goal. That's our goal right now, okay? Paul, Maggie, looking for family, Spirit just said. So I have never, or at least not willingly or knowingly, channeled two spirits at the same time, so I don't know how it's going to work. Um, I mean, it all comes through as one message, so I'll do my best to discern between Maggie and Paul. I have two questions each that I formulated for each person. And for Paul, it was, why do you drink so much, and how did you feel after the boat accident? And for Maggie, it was, why did the nanny raise Paul, and what happened to the nanny? So those are the questions that I felt pulled to ask. Also, before I started, I do my meditation, and purification sound bath came on. So, um, definitely they needed a purification. There's definitely a purification that's going to happen now. And there's some kind of paranormal activity. Some kind of paranormal activity that was going on. All right, make sure you're hitting that like button so people can find us in the algorithm. Everything artsy! Get a good whoop whoop! What up, homie? Thanks for being here. So happy to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for your love and support. We're so excited that you are here. So, thank you so much, Holy Divine Spirit, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, Angels, Loved Ones, Beings of Love and Light. Please be here. Archangel Michael, please protect us as we connect to the energy of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh. Paul and Maggie, if you're in a healed place and you'd like to share your story, we would love to have you. Please, we invite you to our energy field with Archangel Michael for protection. All right. Please tell us more. Let's try to get a vibe, okay? Let's see what the vibe was. Paul. I'm going to focus more on Paul because he's kind of pulling me right now. Canal, yeah. He's kind of pulling me down this way. So, Paul, what was your vibe? What was your overall vibe in your life? Like, what was your emotional state? What was your overall emotional state? Yeah. Oh, so I have this. Everything artsy. Would you stop it? OMG. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, honey. Blessings to you. Thank you so much. You're too good to me. So, I have this guy. I have this guy. This guy. There's definitely an air of having to put on airs, pretending to be happy. But there's some kind of fear about somebody. He's looking up. So somebody he looked up to, or somebody who's an authority figure over him, or somebody who's above him in some way, or older than him. Oh, look. I have him looking up at this. So this whoever this narcissist is could have been somebody older than him, somebody who has an entitlement problem or some kind of personality disorder, somebody who puts looking good and very superficial, someone who might be on their phone a lot or want to look like the perfect whatever. Um, the workout session doesn't count unless you take that mirror selfie. Yeah, someone who always needs to have validation. They always have to have people say, "Oh, look at them," and "Oh, look what I have." I have, someone very superficial. Okay, there seems to be some kind of fear about them, some kind of haunted item, and this is paranormal activity. Jerry is restless. This um person that's an authority figure over them that they may have some kind of fear of is, it could possibly have some kind of paranormal attachment or dark energy attachment. I don't know in what capacity. Dark basement. I don't know. They're an evil person, or they're somebody that operates in lower energies. Okay, lower behavioral energies, very reptilian minded, very superficial, very earthly. Okay. And then I have this wild card. Hello, Helena, Jelena. Thank you for being here. You're absolutely irresistible. Wild. A wild boy. A wild boy. Just someone who, I think this may refer to the drinking, always being half cognizant, half awake. Kind of, that's that like foggy eyed feeling, just kind of floating. This person's floating. You are an inspiration and always give the best advice. We love you, Queen Spirit. Oh, thank you so much. It's not me. I can't take credit. I'm just the messenger. Thank you so much. We love you. We love you. Thank you for your support. So, this card, there's candles everywhere, so very lightly illuminated. So something that walking in through a fog, not having clarity, not having cognizance, not having clear sight, being wild, being reckless, being absolute. Well, this says absolutely irresistible, so that's where like some entitlement comes in, some kind of entitlement. Being untouchable, something like that. I also have, please be an enemy to lovers. Please be an enemy to lovers. I have this card. So there could be, there's some kind of separation here. This could be Maggie and this authority figure. This Paul could have been in the middle between between a conflict between two people, kind of like some kind of um, always like at the mediator, or always having to witness some kind of separation between two people. Mm. Maggie's showing me something. She's showing me. Mm, I want to be as respectful as possible. I'm just gonna say what I see, but she's showing me her on. She always has a drink in her hand, a glass of wine, white wine. She always has a glass of white wine in her hand, and her face is always red, like puffy, and she's always like on the couch, or she's not doing much. She's usually sitting, or um, on the phone, or talking on the phone, or something like that. But always with a drink in her hand. Mm. This could be Maggie and her significant other that I'm seeing. This authority figure who's very superficial. They're always in conflict. They're basically like enemies. says enemies to lovers, lovers to enemies. Okay. Paul was afraid of this person, whoever this person is. This could have been, I guess, his dad or something. He's afraid of him. Or he's always worried about what he would do, or there could be some kind of paranormal activity going on with his dad. He could have like bouts of uh, anger outbursts, something like that. Okay, let's do the word tiles. Paul, why did you drink so much? What can you tell me about why unexplained disappearances? Vessel. I told you. Paranormal activities. We just said vessel and unexplained disappearances. Paul could have drank because of something horrible that his dad did that he knew about. Immense. His dad could have been responsible for people disappearing or someone disappearing. He could have been immensely against this. Immense against. This could have been something that haunted him, something that he confessed in reverse, something he couldn't confess to but that he knew about, something that was foolish, a fool, something that was foolish. Unexplained disappearances. I don't know if they had a basement, or an attic or something, a place. It could be a closet. It could be something like that, a dark place, something where he may have, I don't know, kept something about an unexplained disappearance that he was responsible for, his father. Okay, treasure. He could have received some kind of treasure to be quiet, to not confess, or to keep the secrets of the family, kind of thing. Accuse, hostile. Whenever he would accuse his father or tell some kind of truth, his father could become hostile. I told you he could have bouts of anger that were very scary, assault that would lead to assault, either assaulting him or assaulting Maggie, because he was responsible for unexplained disappearances and unexplained blunders of certain people. And one of the questions I have to Maggie is what happened to the nanny, because the nanny passed away, but the nanny business, alcohol, business. There's something about, he said not likely, so there's something about alcohol, business, blunder. Grand. He was immensely against these unexplained disappearances that he knew his father could have been involved with, or someone of authority. It's somebody older than him. It's somebody older than him. Somebody tiki torches. Somebody a dude. I have dude here. I don't know. I know he had an older brother, so it could be something that his father and his brother did. Dude and daddy. Dude and daddy. I cannot make it up. Good morning, Robin. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. Ophelia! Oh my gosh, I got all my goodies up in here. Thank you, guys. I love you. Thank you for being here and supporting us. I have business dude and daddy. So I know he had an older brother and and his dad. I told you this is a generational thing. This is a generational thing. Strategy. They use strategy and power to um, basically get their way with things. Um, to make things go their way. Tip. Spiders. Tip, spiders, and tip just fell. Now it's in reverse.
Ribbons.
Ribbons.
At the end of the tip.
I'm gonna get two more. Pirate. Historical. I told you, generational. All right, so I asked Paul, why did you drink so much? Because he was because he had regret, and he was resentful. He had a lot of things that he was family secrets he was keeping. He was immensely against this historical actions of his foolish family, a dude and a daddy, and perhaps a business partner, or the way that they strategized towards business. They were like spiders. They had a lot of people everywhere, or their hands in everything, or a lot of connections. But alcohol's right in the middle. Alcohol is like a main thing in this family because of all the secrets that all these family members hold. The reason why Paul drank is because he was against these things. It's like he didn't want to know these things he did that his family did. Whenever he would accuse or bring up these things, it would get hostile. It would lead to assault. There could have been something with the nanny that was the nanny may have brought something up, or they thought the nanny knew something about something that they did with an unexplained disappearance. So they may have had to make it something, make her death look like a blunder, like an accident. Um, and that also affected him greatly. That also, he knew that that wasn't an accident. He knew that it was business. It was a strategy, so the nanny wouldn't tip off anyone. Wow. The nanny was a liability, basically. In the story of the Murdaughs, the nanny raised Paul, and Paul became so close with the nanny that it was like his mother, even more so than his own mother. Um, his mother was not nurturing to him. She had her own things going on. She was already an alcoholic at that time, and so she couldn't provide the nurturing that he needed. And so he became really close to the nanny. Why did the nanny raise Paul?
She haunts.
She haunts.
Dark secrets left behind.
Dark secrets left behind. Come through, spirit. I cannot make it up.
Kidnapping.
Kidnapping. There could be something about kidnapping, because unexplained disappearances. This family, there could be four masculine energies in this family that have carried on generational behaviors that are associated always with alcohol, assault, hostility, being opportunist, strategist, just doing things to ensure that their family name doesn't meet an end, basically. Okay. We'll do some Trivial Pursuit. I have 2 blue, a green, a yellow, and an orange. Okay. Let's see. Tell us more. So, why did the nanny raise Paul, Maggie? What's the parenthetical title of while strolling through the park one day in the merry month of May? While strolling through the park one day in the merry month of May. Parenthetical. That's so funny because parenthetical has the word parent in it. Because she was just the title of a parent, but she was on a walk. She was not able to she was
She will stay.
she will stay. She was just not in the right headspace to raise a young child. She had this child. Um, Paul Murdaugh was the youngest of two, and his older brother was conceived at a different place of Maggie's life, where she hadn't been, what's the word, subjected to whatever underdealings this her husband deals with in his family. So she was just born in a time when she was out for a walk. She was merry all the time. She was drunk all the time. Okay. What Bruce Springsteen LP cover sports his Jean Claude Derriere in front of Old Glory? Born husband. She just said husband. What Bruce Springsteen LP cover sports his Jean Claude Derriere in front of Old Glory? Born in the USA. She was dealing with her husband, who was her meal ticket. He was the only way.
Make noise.
I gotcha. So she was basically stuck with her husband, and they were constantly in conflict, because he was always, out for himself, and he's not a family man. Okay. He's more concerned with the business. He's more concerned with the way things look. It says daddy pirate. He's like a pirate. He's like a modern day pirate. He's always out for treasure, making money. It wasn't, she wasn't nurtured, and so she couldn't be nurturing. He was always showing his ass in front of people, or maybe making her feel old, or, just being abusive, mentally, emotionally abusive. Okay. So she wasn't so that's why she drank. That's why she wasn't in a place to raise Paul the way she needed to. So that's why the nanny stayed, and she had the nanny raise Paul. Okay. What folk poet said he enjoyed sipping a mint julep and listening to the sound effect records? I told you, Bob Dylan, these are drinkers. These are heavy drinkers. But this is generational. So, you know what it kind of reminds me of? Like The Great Gatsby. Um, that kind of generational, like, curse brought over, like that party, like, be the life of the party and have people see your wealth and be like the talk of the town and always be like fun, and it feels like that kind of energy. I mean, a mint julep, is very like, nobody's going to the bar asking for a mint julep,
Interdimensional
but
travel.
if you have a drinking problem and you want to seem fancier, you'd probably, I don't know, I feel like it's very like, what's that word? Very, I don't know what the word is. Very superficial. Like, they just wanted to look like they had everything together, and look like they're the life of the party, and they're the ones that have fun, and they can handle their alcohol, and they always are drinking and having a jolly time. Like, that's the vibe, okay? But in modern day, who drummed Teen Beat up up the charts in '59? Sandy Nelson. Who drummed Teen Beat? Teen Beat, and I have alcohol, assault, and hostile over here. So there's something that happened when Paul was a teenager.
Save yourself
Something that happened when Paul was a teenager
from a dream.
that was very traumatic. That was hard to believe. that that may have been carried out by his father and brother, or perhaps someone that he knew as a teenager or something as a teen, that really that really bothered him and bothered the mother, perhaps Maggie. What spaced out song did Billy Lee Riley and the Little Green Men bring to the world? Flying saucers, rock and roll. Yeah, something like out of this world, something that nobody would believe, something that was so far out of their mental capacity. It's like something that may have broke them, something that may have trauma bonded them, or something like that. Something when he was a teenager. What is this thing that happened? I have one left. I have orange left. What Asian country produces Aria electric guitars? Japan. What's the most strings a lute sports? 6, 16, or 26? 26. And that's so funny because 26 is the number here, but then 26 is spelled out for the answer. So something that was changed, something that was made to look like something else, something that was drawn out, something that was spelled out in a different way, something that
It's not here.
they produced something to make it look like something else, something that happened when he was a teenager. Perhaps somebody who got beat up, or someone who was beat, a teenager was beat up or something. That could be one of the unexplained disappearances that really disturbed Paul and Maggie. What happened to the nanny? Can you guys tell me what happened to the nanny? I have this you laugh, you drink cards. But I don't know. I'm kind of feeling something else. What happened to the nanny, Paul and Maggie? What happened to the nanny? Why did the nanny pass? I know it was because it was like a business strategy about something she knew or something she may have found out, or something they thought she might confess in reverse. Paul may have confessed something to her about a disappearance that had to do with their family. And so they felt like this was the only way, because she would tip in reverse
No vision.
to not tip them off, to tip anyone off about it.
Don't stay.
That's too many. Can I do that again? Yeah, something, I told you, a teen, something, hello, Rosalie, something about when he was a teenager, something that happened to someone at school, or someone that he was associated with at school. Something happened when he was a teenager, something with one of his classmates. Yeah, I told you, look at this. This is the brother and the father. They're very distorted. They're very entitled. They feel like they're royalty, like everyone should serve them. They feel like they deserve to be served. This is very entitled. This makes them very wild. This makes them very irresponsible, because they feel like they have power or some kind of authority over everything. Okay? What happened to this classmate? What happened as a teenager to this classmate? Huh. Interesting. I have two pictures here that are both on a park bench in a park. So this one's got some balloons. This one has a balloon as well. A yellow balloon and a red balloon. There's a boy holding a red balloon, a young boy. There could have been something about a teenage boy that he went to school with. Some kind of action was taken to... His face is turned away from us. To take him away? To make him disappear? Unexplained disappearance? Some kind of... Her hand is behind her back. Something that was done secretly. And I have a father and the man behind. This reminds me of the brother and the father energy. Something with this... Well, this man's older than the man on the bench. So the man could be the father and this could be the brother. The brother seems very uninterested in this woman sitting next to him. He seems more interested in the milkman. What? And the milkman is faced away from this woman. See the milkman in the background? And the woman's facing away. Her face is hidden from the milkman. This brother could have been gay, is what I'm getting. He could have been gay with, or had some kind of relationship or interaction with this teenager from school or something. He has a squirrel and a pigeon on his shoulder. A squirrel and a pigeon. Squirrel. I just got that. You know that song, The Music Factory? And he's like trying to get a nut to move your butt to the dance floor so your butt's up or something. I think this man is gay. He's not interested in women, and there's some kind of connection to a school. Decisively. There's, thank you, Spirit. There's some kind of connection. There's some kind of communicating going on between this brother and a schoolmate of Paul's that could have disappeared or something. That could have, I don't know, mysteriously disappeared or unexplained. Something unexplained happened to him. Okay, I gotcha. Okay. So, jeez. Tony, do you want to ride? Do you want to go for a ride? Yeah. Do you want to go for a ride? I'm telling you, there's something about meeting up with this. There's some kind of evidence, perhaps a text message or some kind of message or email or something that connects this brother, Paul's brother, or someone in Paul's family to a schoolmate that they had some kind of relationship, some kind of gay relationship, which is nothing wrong with that, but this was in secret. Maybe because I don't know how old the brother is at this time, but I know that, or what is being told, or what I'm reading, is that whoever, he was like, hey, you want to go for a ride? You want to go out, go for a ride? So they met up, and this person they met up with is in Paul's school. They share, there's a classmate, and look at this. There's a rope tied. Look, he's about to, there's a friend or something that he's with that is about to tie him up. This kid could have been entering some kind of trap or something, or there was something underhanded that was going to happen to this teenager, this classmate of Paul's, who was coming from a heart space. He was just interested in, I don't know, there's something about being gay, you know, having some kind of relationship. Okay. Oh shit. Look at this seal's blue eyes. They look kind of like Paul Murdaugh's eyes. They all have blue eyes. Oh shit. Oh shit. Paul may have helped his brother even though he was immensely against this foolish act against a treasure. His brother may have gotten hostile and assaulted a classmate from school under alcohol. And Paul may have helped him. Whatever happened in this assault, something may have happened to him. He could have gotten hurt or something. And Paul may have helped to, it says he was a fool. He didn't want to get accused of being involved with a hostile assault. So they made it look like an accident. Oh my gosh. They made it look like an accident. And he was...
Spirit box.
Thank you, Spirit. That's one of the reasons...
At the stroke of 10.
So that's one of the reasons why Paul drank. So that's another reason. And what happened to the nanny... Paul may have confessed this to the nanny, that he was involved in something, and when the father or somebody in the family found out he confessed to the nanny had to go. So that's 2 disappearances. There's a teenage boy and a nanny, or not disappearances, but some kind of foul play. Oh, this energy is draining. So what about... And then not to mention the boat accident. So Paul, tell me about the boat accident. So the reason why he drank so much is because he helped his brother. He played a role even though it was immensely against what he wanted. He was young, he was a teenager. He happened to be with his brother at the time. And his brother did something that he had to help his brother with, because he didn't want to be accused of being involved with it. He didn't want everyone to think that he was involved with it. So they had to make it look like an accident. And that caused him to drink even more. Okay? Wow. Oh. Yeah, because everything is just a mess. It's just chaos. It's just always chaos. Just always like something else happening. There's always some kind of drama. It's like barely staying afloat. The boat accident. The boat accident was on water. He was just annihilated. He was completely annihilated that night. Just drunk, completely drunk. And then one of the questions I had was, how did you feel after the boat accident? How did you feel after the boat accident?
I'm just stuck here.
I'm just stuck here. Oh,
Giver.
how did you feel after the boat accident, Paul? What were your emotions after the boat accident? Knowing that you're responsible for hurting your friend in the boat accident. No peace. No peace. No peace at all. Thank you everyone for being here. Make sure you're hitting that like button. It's up at the top with the 3 dots. You got to click up there. The heart doesn't signify a like button, just to help us out in the channel, to get our get us in the algorithm. So yeah, no peace. No peace. Rejection. Rejection. He knew that he felt rejection. He knew he should be rejected. He was trying to be strong, but he was frustrated. He had no faith, no happiness. His energy and his creativity were completely depleted. He didn't know how to find balance, but he wanted to. He didn't understand how to find balance because his fear and his lack of consciousness kept him at a vibe where he kept saying to himself, I don't deserve to be happy. Death. I don't deserve to be happy. I shouldn't be alive. They should be alive and I should be dead. Things like that. That's the kind of thoughts he was thinking. Anger. He had anger. Magic. I told you. Tell me about this magic. Curse. I just saw curse. I just saw curse. Tell me about this magic. Some kind of curse. I told you. What about it? Intuition. Trust my intuition. Yeah, there's something here about a curse or some kind of spell work or something. Someone was clinging on and spying and obsessing about something that they were in toxicity about. Tell me about this curse.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Intimacy in reverse. A curse that would make sure no relationships are ever good or something. Emotional storm. Turmoil, unstable, affected. Yeah, this could have been some kind of chaos magic or something. We'll look in the Druid way. Maybe there's some answers in here. Please tell us more about this curse. I crossed over Snake River and walked up to the most obvious and most intimate of manifestations of the goddess. After a few moments of contemplation, I decided to practice that enjoyable art of the ancients, meditative sleep. Many traditions seem to have embraced this technique. Taoists still diligently practice it.
Shit.
Temple sleep continues to be a practice in India and Greece. There were at least 300 temples dedicated to the healing god Asclepius, at which those who required healing slept in special cells called abatons. The resulting sleep hopefully produced significant dreams, which were then interpreted by therapeutes, therapeutic. Such practices were also known as the ancient druids wrapped in bull's hide. The Celtic seer would lie near a waterfall or spring hoping for a dream of value. The determination the next High King in Ireland, the druids would use similar techniques. It says the High King in Ireland. And Ireland reminds me of like having red hair. Are you saying that the king of the family may have opened a hidden doorway by going to a seer who lied? Who lied and gave hope of a dream for value, for monetary value. They interpreted something wrong. And in the beginning, I had divination rod and crystal ball. Looking for a way to heal something that they were looking diligently to heal. Someone in this energy may have went to some kind of seer or someone that sold them a dream for an amount of money that they lied about, where they had techniques to heal whatever it is that they wanted healed, some kind of situation. They basically went to someone who's a witch or something and paid for some kind of magic to be done to fix something, to change something the way they wanted it to be. Tell me more about that. What? Tell me more about that. We'll do the words. What are you talking about? This may have put a curse on the family. I don't know if this was done recently. This could have been done in the past because it says historical. And this is something that brought on emotional storms, rebellious. What's the word? It's contumacious. Good morning, autistic Aquarius. The contumacious teenager ran away from home when her parents told her she was grounded. Insubordinate, mutinous, rebellious, remote control.
Closed door.
Alacrity. Speed or quickness. The restaurant won a reputation for fine service since the waitstaff responded to their clients' requests with alacrity. Swiftness, dispatch, haste. I told you, when people are in such dire emotional states, they will act impulsively to do anything that they find could fix or heal or change an outcome of something, okay? When someone is so desperate in such a low energy that they don't know what else to do, it's like a desperation. They will go out of their way to find a way to manipulate the situation. Someone acted out of rebelliousness with impulsivity to alleviate or fix something, but they were in a toxic energy. They were in pursuit of a way, obsessing about how they could change some kind of outcome. Okay? But whoever they went to taciturn, silent, not talking. Whoever they went to lied. Whoever they went to lied and claimed that they could do something that they couldn't do. And whatever they did for money, they said they could make something better. Doing energy manipulation never makes something that's already bad better. Okay? Nothing's going to make it better.
Sinister intentions.
Sinister intentions. This
Underground tunnels.
Thank you. Sinister intentions. Whatever practitioner they went to isn't a true healer. They're just somebody that takes people's money. They saw somebody who was obsessing about changing an outcome and did something else, and it like led to this storm of events, this emotional storm of turmoil. It could have been this father or the brother. It could have been the father or the brother. They were obsessed with changing the outcome. Trickery, deceit. Told you. Guile, trickery, deceit. Yeah, they did something behind everyone's back that they're not talking about, that they can't talk about, that tricked everybody. Since he was not fast enough to catch the roadrunner on foot, the coyote resorted to guile in an effort to trap his enemy. Using few words, laconic. Yeah, there's silent, not talkative, using for few words. He was the classic laconic native of Maine. He talked as if he were being charged for each word. Charged.
Portents of change. I'm hidden in the shit.
Effigy. A stuffed doll, a likeness of a person. Protesters burned effigies of the unpopular leader. Dummy figure image. So this practitioner may have had like a voodoo doll or made dolls of Maggie and Paul or something like that. That could have been a way that they tried to alleviate or fix the outcome of the situation or something. Onerous. Onerous. Troublesome, oppressive, burdensome. But really what this practitioner did was create oppressive, troublesome, burdensome curse, some kind of curse. Backbreaking. The assignment was so extensive and difficult to manage that it proved onerous to the team in charge of it. Basically, someone in this energy didn't want to take responsibility for something that they did multiple times. This is historical. This is something they're known for doing. To fix it so they wouldn't ruin their reputation. Oh, Spirit said one. So one.
He is lost.
He is lost. One person in this energy thought it would be a great idea. They were obsessed with finding a way to change the outcome. Impulsively took action to do something, some kind of deceit, trickery, using few words in secret to a practitioner to change something, to change the outcome of something. It could have involved voodoo dolls or a stuffed doll likeness of a person to cause an emotional storm of turmoil, unstableness, and a lack of intimacy. That could have been why the boat accident happened, or why Paul felt. Because I know that, according, and I'm just going by, his behavior before he drove the boat. He was extremely adamant about taking the boat, and he was extremely adamant about driving the boat, even though he was wasted. Like almost, I mean, he was already drunk, so you can't really apply logic to drunk people, but like no one, no one could talk him out of not driving. And so that could have been some kind of energy manipulation. I mean, he was drunk and he got drunk all the time because of, you know, what he did and what he helped with. But that might have been like the icing on the cake, but in an uncontrollable way. Like nothing could get through to him to not drive the boat. So it may have been a way to, I don't know, seclude him or isolate him, or because he was a liability as well. The nanny, the mother, and Paul may have been a liability to what the brother and the dad had strategized um, from former things they've done before. They didn't want to be accused, so they were trying to do anything. They were desperate to get attention off of them. So they were Paul was like a scapegoat. But the curse backfired because Paul was in a energy of wanting to. He was in a repentance. He was in an energy of repentance. And so once you want to take responsibility for your actions, you automatically like um, become.
1950s.
You automatically get grace. You get.
Spiritus.
Thank you, Spiritus. You get divine grace. Once you realize, like, oh, I fucked up. I really want to make this right. I don't want to live like this. This is something that I can't handle. Once you are asking for forgiveness and you want to be forgiven, you enter into a state of grace where you can start to work that out, and you can start to like have God's help and your spirit guides help, stuff like that. And so that may have been something that made the curse backfire or whatever. Excuse me, I have spirit burps. Whatever they did, whatever this person did to try to um, cause emotional turmoil, make Paul a scapegoat for things they done in the past, backfired and went on to him, and he got hit with the energy manipulation. And I don't know, let's find out. Let me draw one more card. A shoe. Of to shun, avoid, or something wrong or distasteful. He did something wrong. It backfired on him, and he ended up doing something wrong. What did he do wrong? Let's read the consequence card.
Joseph.
What did he end up doing wrong?
Go there.
Go there. I mean,
Silver carries a message.
he ended up possibly unaliving Paul and Maggie, but it's because the whatever he paid for, whatever spell work he paid for, backfired and went back onto him. Gaze into the eyes without breaking eye contact. Hold on to their shirt top. Yeah, he may have. There's something may have broken in this person. The spell work they did broke this person. He snapped. Has your boss ever yelled at you? He became hostile. He was under the spell work, the chaos spell. Do you pepper conversations with words you don't understand? Yeah, he confronted Paul and Maggie, or Paul and Maggie confronted him, or some kind of interaction happened where he broke and he started becoming crazy and hostile. There may have been, give them a cheek dimple. Are you good at forging signatures?
Answer phone.
Have you bought too small clothes hoping you'll fit into them one day? Have you ever tried to guess someone's password to gain access? Have you ever gone dumpster diving? Would you make out with the person you're hugging? Act as if you are about to perform a bris on your target. A bris? What's a bris? Hold on, let me find out what a bris is. BRIS? A Jewish ceremony that involves circumcision of a baby boy. Act as if you're about to cut off your target. His son. Yeah, he broke because he was trying to hold on to something that he thought would forgive him or change. Oh, I see what you're saying. He did the he went to the practitioner to heal a situation, to try to get his family members to not be against him or accuse him of acting in hostile ways and assaulting people and making it look like an accident. Okay, that was his strategy. But it didn't work because that when you go and you get energy manipulation and your intentions aren't pure and you're going to a practitioner whose intentions aren't pure, yeah, past lives and family curses seems to be with this reading. Yes, definitely. This family has in the past definitely resorted to magic. Mad, and it drove them mad. Um, so he went to the practitioner saying, I want to heal. I don't want my family to accuse me of doing these horrible things. Is there a way for you to fix that? Or something like that. Okay. And he wanted them to look up to him again. He didn't want to be this, hostile alcoholic loser who's being accused and who assaults people and stuff. Okay. But he has a temper problem. Has an anger problem. He doesn't control his emotions, this father figure.
Help you.
And so, whatever, and this practitioner lied. This practitioner couldn't do that. Whatever this practitioner did with voodoo dolls was not what was supposed to happen. And no matter what they did to make it better, it just made it worse because the intention was not correct. And Paul got into a place of repentance. Okay, so it backfired on him. So he became mad. Spirit said mad. He went into a rage and he went to Maggie and Paul as if he was going to have a conversation with them, but he was being irate. He was being belligerent. Wasn't making sense, and so that started to scare them. And so he started to something about have you bought too small clothes hoping you'll fit into them one day? He started going off on them saying you'll never fit in my shoes, you'll be a loser your whole life, all the whatever. And it led to them trying to escape trying to escape, trying to dive, trying to get away from this person. And then they became a target because this person is back. The energy manipulation backfired for having Paul and Maggie, forgive him, be by their side, be by his side no matter what foolishness he did. But
Sinister.
it's sinister. But this is a sinister person. He did this underhandedly to trick them, to trick their energy to forgive him, not to do it not to ask for forgiveness, but to trick the energy. And so it backfired, went onto him, and they became a target. He wanted to cut down. Instead of wanting his son to forgive him, he wanted to cut him down. Circumcise his baby boy. Treat the target like a dog that wants to go for a walk. Treat the target like a dog. Could have put him out like a dog. The way I think they raise dogs. Could have chastised your child for staying up too late partying and doing all your coke. Yeah. Yeah, it became this really irate, crazy, anger-filled rage bait that he was just going off on his son. And his son didn't want to be a part of it, so he started to realize there's something wrong with my dad, and he was scared. Then that's when their mom came along, asked the group to close their eyes, bow their heads, and beg your target that finally you might get that dick. Yeah, and then the mom came along, and he was like, "You never have sex with me," and started going off on her. He was just crazy. He went crazy on them. It was the energy manipulation. It caused him to go mad. You're a sushi chef berating the target for using a fork in in your restaurant. I told you, berating. I told you, I cannot make it up. I can't make it up. Okay, because he's got sinister energy. He's done a lot of shady things that have kept him in this energy.
Pause.
And he didn't have the ability to pause. Try to do the splits while screaming in agony and looking right at your target. Yeah. You're a dolphin. Slap your little fins together and try to get your target with echolocation. Yeah, he started chasing them. It became some kind of weird chase with a gun. He had a gun, and he possibly could have assaulted or slapped one of them or both of them. And we know how it ends. So, we know how it ends. Wow. That's crazy. Ugh. This energy. Well, damn. Now that you're crossed over and you're in your life review, what would you, knowing what you know now, what's the lesson? What would you do differently? What's the lesson? What would you do differently? What's the lesson? What would you do differently? Ugh. Holy Divine Spirit, please tell us the lesson. Invite help. Invite help. Invite help. So what I'm getting is, in this situation, this was a family curse. This was something that was passed down, this behavior of, alcohol, drugs, and then blunders, assault, hostility, not confessing to anything that they do wrong, but just covering it up. Just covering it up and pretending like it didn't happen. I have daddy dude business. This happened in all avenues of this family's life. Generationally, this is a passed down behavior, that they can do whatever they want, and that'll just be covered up, that they're a powerful family that has the ability to do that. And that is an energy that this family walked in. And then Paul came along, who's the black sheep of the family, who actually has empathy and actually has the ability to see right and wrong, and is greatly affected emotionally by the actions of these authority figures in his life. But instead of confessing or tipping people off, or
4.
instead of telling people what happened,
Reasonably.
he went along with it. He didn't look for help. He didn't invite help. And he wishes that he did, because the guilt and the shame of knowing that he was involved with something so heinous, something so against his morals, against his own code, because he was raised by the nanny. He wasn't raised by the mother and the father. He had a different moral code. And he would have invited help. He would have told people. He wouldn't have been so afraid of his family. He was afraid of his family. He had fear of this person. Okay? And so invite the divine to pursue you. Seriously, just say, I'm finally ready, God, pursue me. And this was a continuing theme his whole life. There are many instances where he didn't ask for help, where he did not tell the secrets of his family or confess, and he kept those secrets, and it took a big toll on him, and he used alcohol as a way to numb that at a very young age. Imagine, you're not even in your 20s yet, and you've already taken on all these burdens of your family, and you don't want to go against your family, because that's, what else are you going to do? You're just a kid. And so that's one thing that he wishes, or he sees now that he would have done, to not be afraid to speak up, to confess. You are not alone. Yeah, he thought that in grief. Yeah, he at the time he perceived him going against his family as him being alone. And so it put him in a constant state of grieving, the loss of the nanny, which was a huge hit for him because that was basically like his mother. And he knew that his father or his someone in the family had something to do with that. And so he was not prepared to deal with that level of grief. So he would have taken measures to ask for help for his grief. This is a message about asking for help and in all the different ways that help is needed. I think we often don't ask for help because we don't want to be a burden. We don't want to be seen as, troublesome. We don't want to appear as though we're weak. Many reasons. Okay, this seems to be the message coming through. What else? What else would you have done differently? Freedom. I no longer want this fiery ring of resentment to block the good. Release me from this bondage. Yeah, these secrets were bondage for him and for Maggie. Maggie knew about whatever happened before Paul was born, and she still chose to have another child with this energy. I don't, often we think that having children will fix or change a dynamic, but that it's not. Having children, definitely not. Having children doesn't change a scenario or a behavior. It can actually make it worse. And so, birth. Thank you, Spirit, come through. So Maggie had another child already knowing what she would be bringing this child into, and this child ended up being a little different because he wasn't raised by Maggie, he was raised by the nanny. And so both of these people were experiencing a type of grief. Maggie was experiencing the grief of not having the picture perfect family she thought she would have by marrying into this family. And she continued these generational curses and chose to have another child to continue the generational curse. And then putting all these burdens on Paul at such a young age, alcohol, hostility, accusations, all of these, the unexplained disappearances, being involved with that, bringing your child into that's a lot, okay? But at the same time, he's so young. I'm alone. The one I considered my mother is dead now, and died because of these secrets he probably thought it was his fault because he confessed to her how he was involved, and he probably thought it was his fault. So so much here. I told you there's so much to heal in this energy. Receiving. Yeah, Paul didn't feel like he could receive help. He thought he wasn't worthy of help because he wasn't brave enough in his grieving to overcome the grief and to find freedom. He just didn't think that his lack of action to do what's right made him an accomplice, which made him feel unworthy of receiving help, of receiving love. And so it kept him in that perpetual state of wanting to be numb, wanting to not feel, wanting to just drink all the time, because that's how this family copes with the horrible things they do, the sinister things they do. They drink. And so that was a curse passed down to him too, another curse. Clear karma. He wishes that he would have known that it's possible to clear your karma. You don't have to remain in the grieving process and feel like you're not worthy enough to receive. But you can clear your karma. You can definitely do that by asking for help. Gratitude. Gratitude. I'm protected by Source. I think what
he's trying to convey is that this family got so used to having everything they want and everything going their way, and they can do whatever they want and it'll just be swept under the rug, that none of them took the time to actually take responsibility or accountability for why they do the things they do. It just was became it just became like habitual, a generational curse, something that this has happened in this family for many generations. And so what happens when you are so used to witnessing entitlement and where's that picture? This is the perfect picture. Let me find it. This one, where you think you're royalty, where you think you're untouchable, where you think you can have everything your way and not suffer any consequences, where you think you're above God. It makes you ungrateful. Makes you ungrateful. And gratitude is the closest energy to love. Is the At least here on earth, being in a state of gratitude is the closest you can get to the energy of pure positive energy. And when you're in this state of entitlement where you think you can do whatever you want, you lose gratitude for what you receive. And it becomes more like, well, I deserve this instead of I am so grateful for this. And that puts you in an energy of feeling of an illusion, of distortion, of believing you can do anything you want no matter who it hurts, who it affects, and that's just not true. There are karmic consequences to that. 1111, and it's up to us to be able to understand that my blunders, my hostility, my emotions get me in trouble all the time. And I end up bringing people down with me without a care in the world. And it affects a lot of people, not just yourself. And when you don't take accountability for that and you just sweep it under the rug like you can do anything you want, it doesn't make it go away. And you will have karmic consequences for that. You will experience exactly what you gave out, receive. You will receive what you gave out. And so that's what happened here. There's, you know, they happen to come to a certain part of our cycle, of our universal cycle, where we are healing a lot of the timeline, and we're jumping timelines into new earth, and a lot of sinister things that have transgressed in a whole generation are being healed now. And so the all of the things that they've done, the unexplained disappearances, the deaths, the all this stuff that they swept under the rug, it's now time to pay the karma. It's time to clear the karma. This was a karma clearing. Okay, and also there was spell work done, or I wouldn't say that it was successful. It was done by somebody you can't trust, and that's another lesson. Just because someone has a shop or offers a service to that you can pay to have some kind of spell done or reverse a curse or whatever they're selling you, doesn't mean that person's qualified, and doesn't mean that you should do it. Okay, doesn't mean that you should do it. There's no way to The only way to clear or to fix something is to take accountability, ask for forgiveness, find a way to forgive yourself, and move forward and move on. There's no way to change the past or to manipulate people's emotions about you. There's nothing you can do about that. You just have to take accountability. So the lesson here is invite help, understand your grieving process. And there's so many lessons. It's like I'm overwhelmed, honestly. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. And gratitude, I think, is the main one of the main lessons here. When you lose sight of having gratitude of things, you step out of that energy. When you lose gratitude for what you have and all your blessings, you step out of the energy that allows you to receive all of your blessings, abundance, and you start believing that you can do anything you want, and and it's just not true. And so Paul and Maggie are saying that in retrospect, they see now that they were experiencing karma. They were clearing karma out for themselves so they could be free of it in the next life, hopefully. They would have invited help or confessed instead of keeping the secrets of the family, and that would have cleared their karma without all of this emotional storm. That would, if they had just done the right thing and confessed what they've done to somebody that could fix or take away the sinister energy and bring the justice that was needed in the situation, it would have cleared their karma immediately. So they see that, um, that they're not alone. These two people were codependent because they didn't want to walk away from having money. 1111, they didn't want to walk away from a family that was very wealthy. They didn't know how to live life without that level of wealth, and so they couldn't imagine themselves doing something else, and so that made them feel stuck and alone. So they see that. They also see that the grief that they felt for not doing the right thing and for losing people to not doing the right thing is what kept them in bondage and was what kept them drinking and wanting to stay numb. So lots of lessons here. Ugh. But Source wants you to know you're always protected. You won't be protected if you stay in situations that don't match gratitude, that don't match healing. If you want to keep keeping secrets that hurt people, then you're not going to be protected in that energy. But if you want to do the right thing and you want to come forward and you want to get away from that energy, you don't want to be a part of it, you don't want to deal with that mess, then you will be protected. So it's about doing the right thing, following your moral code, and knowing that even if you walk away from the money and having stability, you will be taken care of in a different way. Make way for miracles, because there's a million different ways that God can help you. If when you walk away from something, you're always supported. And that's it. You're always supported. Oh, thank you so much, Maggie and Paul, for coming forward and sharing your higher perspective. Um, I'm sorry that you feel like you failed at doing the right thing, but you're doing the right thing now by sharing your experience and the lessons you learned. So we very much appreciate that. And we're going to share the lesson over on TikTok. If you want to take a look at that, at the Spirit Nuggets, we're going to condense it down over there. But we love you so much. This was a heavy one, so make sure that you're meditating, you're clearing your field. Don't take any of this with you. And we love you so much. Bye.